Well, this is the bandsaw, portable bandsaw stand that I made for my Makita bandsaw, and it was pretty simple to make. Didn't take very long to cut the pieces and weld it up. I used 1.5 inch square light wall tubing, 16 gauge, for the columns, and then I used 1.5 inch channel for the frame of it. Let me turn it around here and get another shot at another angle. All that holds the bandsaw to the frame are the two Allen head screws. Those are 6mm screws that go down into some holes that came inside of the case of the saw, so that worked out well. I had to notch the two corners where the handle would go through, notch those out just so they would clear. And then you can see there's a 1.5 inch channel on top of the box tube, and then go around the back here, and that's the back of it. I have some leveling feet that I put on it here so that I can adjust the feet. They're not welded on. I just have lock nuts on the top of the frame. There's one on each corner, and that levels it out pretty good. It's as sturdy as a rock. I'll turn it around here and let you see this back corner of it. It's very easy to change the blade when I have to do that. I just, on this particular saw, other saws will be different, but all I do is flip this lever up, and that loosens the wheels, and then I just pull the blade straight off. The Makita's got most saws are the same. They have a bit of a twist in the blade here where they go through the plate. This is the model of my Makita 2107F. Pretty nice saw. Just bought it brand new. I haven't used it too much. And the only modification I made to the saw itself was this table. There's two 4mm Allen head screws that are bolted into a nut that runs in this track underneath. That allows the table to be moved forward and backward if you ever need to do that. I wanted a table that was a little bit wider. Well, it's much wider. The saw came with a very narrow strip of metal about that wide that was pretty useless as far as I'm concerned. So I cut this plate, and you can see it's about an 1/8 inch plate is all. Piece of galvanized metal I had laying around, and I cut that out, and that worked pretty well for my purposes. This plate is 6 inches wide in this direction, and the length of the plate is 7 inches long. And I just cut a small slot in it to clear the blade on each side, and I was done. It worked out where the cord comes out the side. So this saw in plan view, let me tilt it down here. This is what it looks like from the top. You've got the handle and the notches in the top frame. You can see another notch where I had right up here at the top of my thumb. I had to notch that out just a little bit to clear the saw frame. Again, no big deal. And the base measurement on this is about 10 inches wide And the length is 14 inches long, so it's 10 by 14 is the base plate dimension. The height is an even 18 inches to the top of the channel, and then the bandsaw itself sticks up about 5 inches above that. Anyway, oh, there was one other detail of a support that I failed to mention, and that was this plate that I welded on the bottom. And there are no screws underneath here. It's just a flat plate welded on, and the saw body has a lug sticking out on the side of it, and it hits that plate. So that's just an extra, a third point if you want. The main points are up here where the two screws are, the 6 millimeters that I showed you before. Now I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. And I did cut 2 aluminum spacers that fill up the distance between the saw and the top mounting plate. And again, you can see the 2 screws up on top there. And I just finished mine off with some Rust-Oleum, the wrinkly finish Rust-Oleum. That's pretty good paint for this kind of thing. It's pretty durable. And it probably took me half a day to make it and get it all welded together and then painted, which wasn't too bad. It sure has been useful. I've used it a few times. I had some work to do on the boat, and I just threw it in the truck. You can just pick it up by the handle real easy, carry it off, and plug it in and use it. So it worked well when I had to go to the boat about 60 miles from the house, and I needed some power tools to cut some metal on some work I was doing on it down there. Okay, that's about the extent of what it takes to make one of these. Not much to it.